The Story of Pope Francis, A Journey of Faith, Humility, and Hope, 1936–2025. In the bustling city of Buenos Aires, Argentina, on a warm summer day, December 17, 1936, the baby boy was born to Italian immigrants Mario and Regina Bergoglio. They named him Jorge Mario Bergoglio. The Bergoglios were a working-class family, his father, a railway accountant, and his mother, a homemaker who raised Jorge and his 4 siblings with strong Catholic values, humility, and an unshakable sense of faith. As Jorge grew up in the quiet barrio of Flores, he wasn't destined for grand titles or distant fame. He was a regular boy, curious, smart, and grounded. After finishing technical school, he earned a diploma in chemical technology and worked in a food laboratory. At night, he helped support his family by cleaning floors and even briefly worked as a nightclub bouncer. Yet something stirred deep within, a calling that went beyond science and routine. At the age of 21, Jorge's life took a dramatic turn. A serious illness led to the removal of part of one lung, and during his recovery, a moment in confession changed his life forever. He felt called to serve God, not from a pulpit of power, but as a servant of the people. In 1958, he joined the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, known for their intellectual rigor and commitment to education and social justice. Jorge studied humanities, philosophy, and theology, becoming a Jesuit priest in 1969. He taught literature and psychology in Argentine schools and slowly emerged as a thoughtful, quietly strong leader. In 1973, he was named Provincial Superior of the Jesuits in Argentina. These were not easy years. Argentina was slipping into the brutal dictatorship of the Dirty War. Jorge navigated this dangerous period with care, discretion, and quiet acts of bravery, sheltering people when he could, always prioritizing life over politics. Throughout the 1980s and early 90s, he served as rector of a seminary, taught theology, and provided spiritual direction to young Jesuits. Then, in 1992, his quiet work caught the attention of the Vatican. He was named Auxiliary Bishop of Buenos Aires, and in 1998, he became its Archbishop. Though his title grew, his habits didn't change. He refused the bishop's mansion, lived in a simple apartment, cooked his own meals, and rode the bus through the city streets. In 2001, Pope John Paul II elevated him to cardinal. Still, Cardinal Bergoglio remained one of the most humble figures in the church hierarchy. He often slipped into the slums of Buenos Aires to minister to the poor. He walked with the people, not above them. Then came a moment that would change history. In 2013, following the shocking resignation of Pope Benedict XVI, the Church convened in conclave. On March 13, the cardinals made a bold and historic decision. They elected Jorge Mario Bergoglio as the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. He emerged onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica not in grand robes but in plain white. He bowed and asked the people to pray for him before he would bless them, a moment that captured hearts instantly. He chose the name Francis, after Saint Francis of Assisi, signaling a papacy rooted in poverty, peace, and care for the planet. As Pope Francis, he quickly became known not only as a spiritual leader but as a moral voice for the world. He refused the papal apartments and lived instead in the modest guest house. He spoke out for the poor, the marginalized, and the forgotten. He traveled to war zones, refugee camps, and indigenous communities, always emphasizing mercy, dignity, and inclusion. He wrote passionately about the environment in his 2015 encyclical Laudato Si, calling for urgent climate action. He urged the Church to welcome the divorced, care for the LGBTQ+ community, and embrace synodality, a new way of listening and sharing power within the Church. He reformed Vatican finances, spoke against clerical abuse, and met with leaders of other faiths in the name of unity and peace. Despite criticism from traditionalists, Pope Francis remained steadfast in his vision, a church that walks with its people, especially the most vulnerable. He was a man of prayer, of quiet courage, and of genuine joy. In his final years, health challenges began to weigh on him. A colon surgery in 2021, ongoing sciatica, and respiratory problems forced him to use a wheelchair. Still, he kept going, writing, teaching, and appearing at public events when he could. By early 2025, he had been hospitalized multiple times. Yet, on Easter Sunday, April 20, 2025, he made one final appearance in St. Peter's Square, delivering the Urbi et Orbi blessing. Frail but smiling, he waved to the crowd one last time. The next morning, April 21, 2025, at 7:35 a.m., Pope Francis passed away peacefully in Vatican City, surrounded by his closest aides. He was 88 years old. His death sent ripples through the world. Leaders, believers, and non-believers alike mourned the loss of a man who had lived not for himself, but for others. Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Camerlengo, announced his passing, and a period of mourning began. A conclave to choose his successor would follow, but for now, the world paused to remember the Pope of the poor, the Pope of mercy, the Pope of peace. Pope Francis left behind not only a changed church but a changed world. His legacy will live on in every act of compassion, every whisper of humility, and every voice that speaks up for those without one.